it'd be remiss not to talk about Mike Myers. I mean, he's obviously a very talented comedy actor, and turns out he's a very good creator of characters as well. I know there's a bit of, what's the word, hoopla about where Dr. Evil came from. You know, I think his partner in Wayne's World, Dana Carvey, says that
he stole him, didn't he, from him?
Well, it's certainly the voice anyway. But I mean,
well, it's not just the voice; it's the pinky.
Okay, right.
I actually watched an interview recently about it when he was on the Howard Stern show, and Howard asked him about this, and he said, "Look, it's yes, at the time, I was annoyed that I felt Mike Myers stole my impression of Lorne Michaels, who is the guy behind Saturday Night Live." Yeah. And he said it probably went on a little bit too much. I was probably a little bit too stubborn. We fell out a little bit about it, but everything is fine about it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting because you saw that film, or that you saw, well, not a film. What's it called? Wayne's World. You saw them both in Wayne's World, and they were on Saturday Night Live together as well. And you didn't really see them much after that. So they obviously did have some sort of falling
I
out.
wouldn't mind betting Dana Carvey, it was more a case of frustration that he didn't take advantage of that impression himself. Like, he didn't think to himself, I should do a character here based on this. Where he's thinking, I'm just doing Lorne Michaels. Mike Myers, who coincidentally didn't actually want to play Dr. Evil at the start, when he's playing Dr. Evil, he's probably like, he's riffing, so he's probably thinking, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna add this to the character, this, that, and the other. And it turns out the pinky and the the impression of Lorne Michaels. So, it's one of those things, isn't it, with comedy. If someone gets there before you, you're left ruined the fact that you didn't take the opportunity when you could have.
Exactly. And, these guys know as well as anyone, right, from the Saturday Night Live stuff, that how quickly you can lose out on a role or an impression or something. So, I think the interview that I saw with him definitely suggested, look, I was probably a little bit bitter back then. It's water under the bridge now. It doesn't really
I think there's obviously some stories that Mike Myers, when he was at his height, was difficult to work with. Whether that's with everyone, you don't know, do you? I mean, you hear a couple of stories and then people just associate. So say you hear one story about this person being difficult, you just think they're always difficult. That's probably not the case, but I wouldn't mind betting when Mike Myers is at the height of his fame, he gets a bit, it's understandable that people get lost.
Yeah. And people are probably telling him, oh, you're amazing. You've just created Wayne's World, which was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
You've now done Austin Powers. You went on to do 3 Austin Powers. You went on to do however many Shreks and things. And I tell you all right, one of my favorite film with him in is Studio 54.
That's a good film, yeah.
Oh, it's an amazing film.
I'll tell you another one we should watch again as well is So I Married an Axe Murderer.
I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah. And I remember that being quite funny as well. You think about that, what was it, 10 years that Mike Myers had when he was on Saturday Night Live. He's doing Wayne's World, he's doing Austin Powers, he's doing Shrek.
Yeah.
I know, like, there's other people around that time who are massive in comedy, but I'd struggle to think of anyone who's bigger or more successful than Mike Myers at that point.